Hello everyone, we're Team Animeishness. I'm Iris Blue.
I'm Yako Masu, Himedamazlu.
Yako.
Your name is so long. I don't like it. And I'm Div.
Your name's so short.
And today, we're reviewing Tokyo Ghoul. We here at Team Animeishness are not
Hey, giving
exactly
summaries! You always gonna say it. So I was gonna say it.
This is episode 2.
Oh. It feels like it's been so long.
We here at Team Animeishness hate doing summaries, so we draw cards. The low card has to give summary, high card gets first opinion. I've got a 10.
Got a king.
I've got a Joker.
Oh.
Joker. Japanese words we don't speak. Alright, summary of Tokyo Ghoul.
Alright, in Tokyo Ghoul, it's a sort of alternate version of our universe where there are beings known as ghouls running amok all through Japan. I don't know if they're in the rest of the world, but I digress. Ghouls are beings that, I was going to say cannibalize on humans, but they're not humans, so it's not cannibalism.
Ghouls cannibalize.
Well, whatever. Anyway, so ghouls are beings that eat people. And while society does know and acknowledge that they exist, they don't know much about ghouls. And so they're still shrouded in mystery, feared, and killed off if they're discovered.
Although some people still think it's just a myth, just a story.
I think I got that vibe too. But, so you follow the story of the main character, Kaneki, as he struggles to differentiate himself and where he stands between humanity and the ghouls, and who is actually right and who is wrong between the groups as they battle it out for freedom, power, control, etc. And it's pretty good.
Alright, you drew the high card. First opinion.
I love this anime with every fiber of my being.
Div just finished it recently, so she's super fangirl right now.
Well, I mean, it's beautiful animation. Like, it is really beautiful.
It is pretty.
And the characters are really actually all uniquely different. They have different attitudes per character.
I have some discrepancy with that, but I won't count
Well,
on you too much right at the moment.
Among my group of characters that I actually like, they're different.
Fair enough. And I believe we had talked about this, off camera. We secretly have lives. We had watched, at least I don't know if you switched, but we had watched the censored version. I'd say 90% of the time the censoring is done really artistically and is really beautiful. There's one scene where it bothered me because all they did was blur it out. It was
That's cheap.
That was actually the last time they used censoring too.
Yeah, the last time they used censoring, you're like, okay, we ran out of ideas or something. But normally it's a really interesting cast of light and shadow, or a flip,
gradients and colors.
yeah, flip of colors, and it's done very artistically and really beautifully.
In that part, it literally is just a giant gray blob with beautiful designs.
Everything's normal around it, just this one spot that's blurred.
But you can totally even tell because it's not a good blur.
And my turn, I don't care for the animation outside of fight scenes. When they're just walking around, it has a tendency to try to be too artistic, too dramatic, just too in your face. This is a serious. It's trying too hard. The series tries so hard and it misses the point because it's busy trying hard, which for me causes me to want to look directly at all of the holes of, well, why isn't this responding like this? Why isn't this character like this? How are they still a mystery? How do they not know that there's such a collection of ghouls right under their noses? Like, the ghouls have to go through tendencies where they snap. We see them snap in the series, and yet it's not really a, oh man, we just revealed ourselves type scenario.
Well, they always, and the thing is, like, there's 2 major ghoul gangs, basically, and they blame everything on one and just forget that there's another one.
Mm-hmm.
Later on, the other one pretty much goes public. So.
Yeah, but that's not until the very end. That is literally not till the last 3 episodes.
Of the first season?
No, that's not even in public in the first season.
Are you talking about...
I'm talking about Anteku.
Oh, I thought you were talking about...
Okay, let's...
Sorry, back to the camera. Sorry about that, guys. You gave your opinion. Okay, so it's my turn.
Favorite character.
I didn't give an opinion.
Okay,
My opinion is sort of in the middle. It's one of the ones that when I first started watching it, I spam watched it one episode right after the other in a quick chain, and when I was doing that, I was super emotionally indebted. I loved everything about the series. I was constantly like, okay, what's going on? What's going to happen next? And then I sat it down, and I stopped caring until Div brought me back to watch it some more. And if I watched it with gaps of time between it, again, not emotionally indebted at all. This is kind of me personally, though.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll cut mine short there because I kind of supplemented my opinions on your guys' as well. Characters.
So, Div, favorite character?
Well, at the beginning of the show, it wasn't my favorite character, but my favorite character ended up being the main character because he turns from this whiny...
The main character's name is Kid Eye Patch.
Kaneki Ken.
He turns from this whiny thing to this badass silver-haired...
And I'm the exact opposite. Season 1, I loved Kaneki. I actually connected with him pretty well, again, because I chain watched it, and I constantly was like, okay, what's going on? Is he going to be okay? Things like that. Season 2 happened. He stops being a main character for a little bit, and when you return to him, he's this silent, stoic, admittedly badass, but he doesn't have any personality at all anymore. And I know you've argued before that he didn't seem like he had a lot of personality to begin with. I feel like that was done so that the audience can sort of put themselves in his place.
Like the silent protagonist in video games.
Yeah. But, first season...
So your favorite character?
My favorite character, I'm going to say overall is still Stitches McCutie, or Juzo Suzuya. He's a character that's introduced really late in Season 1 and has a couple more important roles through Season 2. I love his character design. His English voice actor is freaking amazing. I love her work on that character so much. I've heard her in one other thing, and she does have a really unique voice quality, which works extremely well for this character, but I also think that her emotional balance throughout the character's speaking lines, etc., is really, really well done, and it made me love the character even more when I heard it in English.
It adds another depth to the fact that he is just psychotic.
He's kind of crazy.
Everybody in the show is. My favorite character is in one episode, and his name is Taro. And
Mama!
In the few minutes of screen time he has, he's introduced as this stupid fool that's just there to kill the main character. Throughout this, he gets an entire character arc where he gets developed, and by the time he is finished with his little arc, you feel sorry for this guy.
And by arc, she means this is like 5 minutes of an episode.
Maybe 5 minutes.
That's pushing it.
And I'm going to admit right now, I didn't finish the series. I got to, I think, episode 6.
I won't shun you for it. I have a series like that.
And unfortunately, it wasn't a series that I felt very negative towards or didn't like it or anything.
Indifferent?
I just didn't care if I finished it or not. Despite how much you begged me, I could not finish it. I could not sit down and watch another episode of it where I left off.
Okay, we need to wrap up here soon, but is there any other additional comments you guys want to make about the art style, animation, voice acting, if you've watched both English and Japanese?
I have actually watched it sporadically because the first season's not dubbed. The second season's almost dubbed, and I wanted to finish watching it, so I went straight from dubbed back to subbed.
It was like in the midst of the simulcast thing on Funimation, and so there's really random episodes that are dubbed and that aren't.
And I honestly can say that I feel like the dubbed and the sub match up pitch-wise really, really well. That's like one of the first ones that have done that. And it's because the dub talk is actually doing this thing where if you don't like it and you voice your opinion on it, like in the comments, they'll actually go and change it.
Huh, I didn't know that actually about the simulcast. But yeah, I think that the voice acting in English is being very well done.
I think the fight scenes are beautiful, the way the characters fight, each one of them having a unique style, not just a copy and paste, this one's slightly different from one another. They have the same type of weapons.
I know we're running over our time a little bit, but I have to gush. Second season, what is her name? I won't say her name because it's a little bit of a spoiler. That you introduced this character who's the leader of a group called the Black Dobers. Her fighting is gorgeous. I was watching that the other day with Div, and I was like, okay, I haven't cared about this character the entire series, but after watching the way she's animated, the way she moves when she fights,
it's one of those things where you just
gorgeous.
know that during the manga she was given a whole arc.
Oh yeah, and also she has this really important moment where she has a really important little monologue, which seems out of nowhere in the anime, so I'm like, okay, she had to be more important.
Especially since during the whole anime she was just a background character.
Yeah, I think she spoke all of about 3 times.
Alright, so this is episode 2, and we have already made a mistake. Would you please pull out a calculator, Div?
Alrighty.
You get to hear us argue about the numbers, which is something we don't intend to record. I mean, if you guys like it, whatever.
Calculator.
We fully intended to have all of our ratings pre-prepared.
Alright, well, I'm gonna have to do it. This gets my 10.
This gets
Wow.
your 10.
This gets my 10.
It's
Really?
only episode 2.
I feel awful for what I'm giving it. I'm giving it a 5.5.
I'm gonna give it a 7.5 or 8. Which one should I give it? An 8, 7, 8, 7.5. Yeah, 7.
And while you're doing the average part of it, the reason I rated this so low is because you lose interest in it if you stop spam watching it. The animation is pretty in the fights, it's kind of lagging in between the scenes, and I can't take a show that takes itself too seriously. You'll find this again. There's one series in particular that I know we're going to have to watch at some point, and it's not this one. It's not this one that I can't do it.
The more dramatic and, like she said, and she'll probably say it again, the more seriously a show takes itself, the less seriously she can take it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if it's a show that totally makes fun of itself,
Like One Piece.
Iris loves it.
Or Nanatsu no Taizai, which I dropped Tokyo Ghoul to watch.
But I don't know, for me, maybe it's because I spam watched it, and maybe it's just because I actually had an interest in the horror genre, and this is a horror genre anime, is why I chain watched the crap out of it.
Alright, so with our sporadic numbers, this gives us a 7.6 eye patches.
Indeed.
We're Team Animeishness,
And we hope you enjoy.
and we'll see you in the next video. Later.
Bye-bye.
Hello, Animeishness fans. If you like this one, hit the like and subscribe button below. But if you don't, well, we all know what happens.
Hey, Div, have you seen Yako?
No, not at all.